Hello there everyone and welcome back to once again another live stream here on the Divine Eye Racing YouTube channel. Today we are racing around in Imola and I've got a very special guest in the comms box with me today. I've got Mr. Ali House, former racer for Divine Eye Racing here. Welcome Ali.
Welcome, how are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty fine myself. How are you yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Looking forward to the race.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Imola, very good racing track. You know, you've got a lot of overtaking opportunities. Sector 1, I mean, of course, you've got that little left-hander, and then you've got another left-right-hander, and then you've got turn 7, of course, into Sector 2. Good overtaking spots here in Sector 1 and Sector 2. But what are your thoughts about this track? I'm not sure. You should have, I mean, I'm not going to say you should have been racing. You've decided to retire from racing in general. Let's talk about that first. What is your... Why are you exactly retiring, or what is the thought behind it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's got to the point where I'm not putting in the time that I need to be able to race. So I think when it gets to that point, then it's pretty much done. It nearly happened on the 23 game. I decided to carry on. But yeah, it's to the point now where racing's over. I'd like to get involved in the commentary a bit. I've done commentary before, so I'd like to get involved within the commentary. But for me, yeah, the racing's up. The passion's gone out of racing, but certainly excited for the commentary and the race tonight.
Yeah, the excitement for the racing is gone, but at least the excitement for the commentary isn't gone. You've mentioned you've done it before, so we will be having a great stream here for you guys tonight. Let's talk about our thoughts about Imola in general. The track, I think it's called the Enzo Edino Ferrari track or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Imola in general?
I like Imola. It's a driver's track. You know, it's a real driver's track, kind of like Hungary. You've really got to be on your ball, or you can lose out. It's as simple as that. You know, you've got to have been able to put the practice in, put the lap times in, work out strategies. Otherwise, you know, you could see yourself not where you think you could be. So as a driving point of view, lovely track. And hopefully from a commentary point of view, it's going to be a lovely track as well.
Yeah, I'm really expecting a very good race from all these guys. I mean, we've seen many battles in the last couple of weeks from these guys. You know, you've got both the Haas drivers sometimes having a battle with each other. You've got the AlphaTauri sometimes having a battle with each other, but also at the front of the pack, you've got Kev. You have Mr. Tonhinga isn't in the session, so he won't be battling with Mr. Kev the Slice. But then, of course, we've got Nico John, who's been very consistent on the tires recently, not doing a very good qualifying, then climbing back up during the race. You've got Jesper van Golde. You have Jay Dennis, who is unfortunately not here today. And then, of course, last week we had that Frenchman who was, he was steaming through the grid. He had 20 seconds in front of P2. So yeah, he got excluded from racing in Div 2, which is quite unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is.
To be honest though, the gap he pulled, he wasn't D2 racer, D1 racer. So I mean, now that what it's going to do is to pretty much narrow up the grid, so we shouldn't be expecting what we saw last week. As you say, we haven't got Tonhinga here, who we know he is a very fast driver. I don't know if he's planning on joining the session at all, like he did last week, but I should imagine we're going to have the normal top runners up the front. You know, Kev the Slice is going to be there. We're going to have the likes of, I mean, Bobo. Look at the race that Bobo had last week. You know, he had an absolute blinder, kind of come out the blue, if I'm honest. And kind of shocked me that he was there in front of me. But yeah, I mean, Imola's a kind of track that can throw anything up. So we're just going to see how this qualifying session goes.
Yeah, as you're mentioning Bobo, I feel like he's he's that kind of guy that at the beginning of the season we didn't know what his name was, we didn't know who he was, and then going further into the season, we were now in round 5 or round 6 if I'm not mistaken. Round 6 if I'm not mistaken. Last week we had round 5 in Bahrain, but as you mentioned, I mean, he's climbed up the ladder, currently in P5 in the Drivers' Championship, so he's really making a name for himself here in Divine Eye Racing. Might wanna improve, well, promote to Div 1 at the end of the season. I'm not sure if Divine Eye is doing something mid-season where the drivers will be switched divisions. I've seen that from other leagues where they, for example, examine it halfway through the season whether drivers are really not suited in a Div 2 division. For example, I mean, if I were an owner of Divine Eye, here we go, Bobo putting himself on pole for the moment, a 115.4. But if I was a league race owner, I would definitely examine halfway through the season who is really dominating the season. You know, you've got Kev the Slides currently still in P1 in the Drivers' Championship. He's been there all season long. He isn't too far away from P2 and P3. So I would say, you know, in that case, it's still interesting. But like that guy from last week, that Frenchman, the guys did decide very well on it. He couldn't be driving, and I think they should take that in consideration when someone else joins. Not, of course, Kev the Slice, because he's been here all season long already. But if someone else joins, you know, they have to examine, do we want him in Div 2 or do we promote him to Div 1? And then, of course, the drivers might not be able to race in Div 1 as it's on a different day than the Div 2. So, yeah, it's all everything to think about as a racing league owner, and that's just the beauty of it.
That's the issue, you know. If somebody is in Division 2 and can only race Tuesdays and they can't race Mondays, and they blitz Division 2, then obviously that's going to cause a bit of a logistical nightmare for the owners. But let's see how the plans sort of pay out. Just a quick note, Thomas, are you sure the stream is actually live? Because I am getting offline. if we can just definitely double check we are live.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're live. Hold up, let me look. Yeah, here you go. I don't know if you can hear yourself. Hold up.
I can, so I don't understand why I'm getting.
I put the link in.
See anything.
The link in the Discord.
Yeah.
If you want to double check.
Trying to pick it up on my laptop, but it's saying nothing, which is strange.
So
I'm
usually
going to spend a couple of minutes just trying to sort this out, and
yeah,
then I'll let you carry on for a second.
I'll do a quick track analysis, which I usually do here around certain tracks. We're currently on board with Mr. Oranjeboom Brown racing for the McLaren 3 team. Coming into turn 1, hard braking zone. We've got a lot of curb to be taken in sector 2, in turn 2. Then, of course, in turn 3 too, he goes a little bit too deep into that corner. He invalidated his time, so he won't be able to put this time actually on the board. Coming into turn 4 and 5, we've got a little bit of a chicane, and then we've got turn 6 being that U-turn, that slow left-hander, which we usually see a lot of guys make a move up the inside. But my question is, will we be seeing that today? Probably we will be. It's usually a move that a lot of guys are making in that first lap. They see an opportunity down the inside, and they're just making it down the inside. Now, heading into Sector 3, one of the more difficult sectors here around Imola, I would say Sector 1 is also a very difficult one, but especially here through the chicane, that curb on the insides, on both the insides, are so high that you can basically not touch it with your car, or you're going to lose so much time coming onto those curbs. So heading into those last two left-handers, I don't see a move to be made anywhere here. Maybe in the last lap with a lot of risk, but basically, from all the moves I've seen through there, none of them were, successful. So that is not something great, and not something to look forward to as a commentator when you would expect someone to make a move through there. So let's have another look here with Oranjeboom Brown as he's going for another one. He did save a lot of ERS coming through Sector 2 and Sector 3. So once again, turn 1, and he the same corner, he goes deep, the same corner. He makes the same mistake, and he's not going to be able to improve, and he hasn't put a time on the table at all. So he'll have to come into the pits. put on some new rubber, and hopefully he's going to be able to improve.
That corner is tricky. You've really got to actually get your line right on the entry, otherwise, yeah, you're just going to end up screwing yourself. I can't seem to get the stream up on the laptop, so I won't be able to respond to any messages within the stream. So I'm going to totally concentrate on the race and assist you as much as I can do.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Let's put our eyes on the Red Bull driver who almost made the same mistake as Oranje Bone Brown. Now heading into turn 4 and 5, of course, that little chicane, a very fast chicane. I do have to say that reminds me a bit of the chicane in Australia, but a little bit slower than. Here we're coming through turn 6, heading into sector 2, and we've got turn 7 and turn 8. A very fast left-hander for a Blue Dark. And he wants to clip the curb as much as possible on both the entry and the exit. Now heading into turn 8 and 9. And turn 9, one of the most tricky ones here, as you've got turn 10 right behind it. And the problem there is it's uphill, and usually a lot of guys struggle with uphill corners. And we do see a lot of guys making mistakes through that part of the track, tire overheating coming through that fast left-hander turn 7 and 8, if I'm not mistaken. So that is definitely something we sometimes will be seeing, drivers crashing through Sector 2, and I think it's also the most likely sector to see drivers crash out, unfortunately. Blue Dark, who almost goes onto the curb there. Well, he did not go onto the curb, almost invalidated, is what I was about to say. Puts himself in P14 with a 118.0. Not the fast lap that the Red Bull driver could have done, but I'm not sure if he saved a lot of ERS. Doesn't look like it, so he won't be able to improve. And we've got a new driver. I haven't seen him in the race actually before, 115.1.
No, that's got to be a new driver, and that's a cracking lap, if I'm honest. Just quickly going back to Sector 2, Thomas, the chicane in Sector 2, the right left-hander in Sector 2, where I think the Alpha Tauri is just coming up to now, and a Williams maybe, or a Mercedes. You've got a slight flat part of the right-hand turn and also the left as well. You've got a flat section of the curb which is actually painted exactly the same, but if you run it too tight, then the curb becomes raised. So the key is to run on the flat. I'm just watching somebody go through it now. The key is to run on the flat sections of that chicane. If you hit the raised curb, you're going to throw your car off track and you're just going to lose track time.
That is the ideal situation about having a racing driver in the comms box.
I didn't know that at all. Coming there now. I don't know if you want to go on board with the Mercedes that's coming around there at the moment, just about to hit Sector 2. That chicane that I'm talking about, so on the right-hand side, missed the raised curb and missed the raised curb on the left. And if you can hit the flat parts, then you've nailed that chicane basically, and the time you can gain there is crazy.
That is Sector 3, right? Isn't it?
No, Sector 2. It's Sector 2. In the middle of Sector 2, you've got a chicane. You've got a right left-hander before you hit Sector 3, down the straight before the final few bends.
Oh, no, that is already Sector 3. If you look at your track map, you'll see a little line right in front of those chicanes.
Oh, it's Sector 3. No, you're right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's the beginning of Sector 3.
Don't worry.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. So, yeah, that's what I was saying, but it's in Sector 3 and not 2. My mistake.
Nah, no worries. You see, that is something that you do see as a commentator and not as a racing driver. Look, we've got our qualities, and we've got our... You got your qualities of knowing how to take corners. I've got my qualities to know what tracks and what corners there are, you know.
There you go, and that's what I've got to learn.
Oh, El Chacal going off track there. The Aston Martin driver impeding his lap. And I'm not sure what was happening there. Who was the Aston Martin? Might have been Jesper van Golde. And that will definitely be a report.
I think it was. There could be a... There's a bit of blocking issue. I know Jesper's actually got I think he's got Williams behind him at the moment is that El Chacal?
It is El Chacal.
Okay, is El Chacal on a lap? That's the thing. I know Jesper is on an out lap and trying to push because he doesn't want these guys past. So, and El Chacal's actually gone off, or has he let the... let the Ferrari past?
I think he's let the Alfa Romeo past.
It's an
He went a
Alfa
little bit
Romeo,
off, he
okay.
went a little bit off track there, going onto the blue to let him pass because I think he thought that he was on a fast
Yes,
lap. He's
yes,
not
just
on a
about
fast
to start a lap, and he's had to push the second part of his warm-up lap, which probably isn't ideal for him. But he's about to start a lap, and we have got cars actually piling out the pits as well. So, is he going to get impeded on his hot lap? Oh, that was close, but the car did get out the way. I didn't quite know who that was. Oh, he's riding the curb too much. He's beaching himself on the curb. That's going to cause him a few tenths or so. I'm suspecting this probably isn't going to be an improvement. Oh, and the Red Bull there's a Red Bull stuck in the middle of the track. Really did not get out of the way whatsoever, which is really not going to help Jesper's lap time whatsoever. The Red Bull did impede him there, if I'm honest. Totally impeded him. And we're going to have a look at, let me just have a look at the Sector 2 Delta, see whether he's up or not. I very much doubt he's going to be up because he's not had, no, he's 3 temps down, nearly 4 temps down, and rides too much curb as well. So Jesper's probably last run has not gone to plan.
No, he was already down 2 tenths coming into Sector 2, so he definitely lost a bit of time, possibly due to that Red Bull, which we were talking about earlier. I don't think he was exactly on the racing line, so I'm not sure if it was indeed an impeding, because he could still go full throttle throughout that corner section. But, I mean, it might be...
I think the Red Bull didn't help the situation, shall we just say?
That's correct. That's correct. I totally agree. I mean, I do think it's reportable, but I'm not sure if it's penalty worthy. If that is, look, because the McLaren does the same here. If you're on board with the Bartofor, the McLaren was parking it on the outside, if I'm not mistaken. The same position where the Red Bull put his car earlier when Jesper. So I think it is quite of a common corner section to put your car in. But if you're a little bit faster coming through Sector 1, and you're heading into Sector 2, coming around that slow left-hander, you still have a lot of room there on the entry, well, on the inside line, to just leave some cars past. And I'm not sure why the guys are deciding to do it in front of turn 6 instead of behind turn 6. But I mean, I guess it's just preference from the drivers and how they feel comfortable with the situation and all that kind of stuff.
From a driver's point of view, it's probably the easiest place to actually let them pass, but then from the attacking driver's point of view, it's the worst place. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation, really, to be honest.
I'm just on board with the Bartofor here. I think he's going to go on a fast lap. He's one of those guys who I think...
Oh my God, Ramon. Oh, he's just invalidated. No way, he's just invalidated. Oh dear. Our current pole sitter is just invalidated, and the first split that I got from Sector 1, he was 8 tenths up.
Oh man, we've got another Frenchman. We've got another Frenchman.
That is just ridiculous. So who have we got now? Bobo. Let's see what he can do. Coming through Sector 1 now, about to get the split time, half a tenth up. So he's going in the right direction. He's definitely gaining lap time. Let's see what Bobo can do through Sector 2. Keep the car as far to the right as possible. Shift down a gear. Get on the power as early as possible. Flat out. Little shift down here as well. No, he keeps it in gear. Okay. Nice exit. Let's see this chicane now. Keep off the high curbs, Bobo. Keep off the high curbs. He's kept off the high curbs. It's a good end of a Sector 2, well, Sector 3 actually, as you said, Thomas.
Oh, Kev the Slice coming across the line with a 115.0. We might want to have a quick look with Bobo here coming around the last corner. He was up 3 tenths heading into Sector 3. What time will it be for the Ferrari driver? It'll not be an improvement. No, it will be an improvement, but not good enough for a position.
He messed up the second to last bend. He went wide out the second last bend, totally missed the apex. And that could have possibly, if I'm honest, cost him P2. But it's not the end of the world. We're qualifying, we've got a race to go, so let's see what they can do.
Yeah, let me ask you this. You know, you're new to the commentary here in Divine Eye. What is your podium prediction for the race? You're looking at the results of the qualifying, looking at how much Ramon was improving heading into Sector 1. Is he going to be consistent? That is the question. Is El Shakel, because, I mean, he is up there with the top guys, only 3/10 away from Kev the Slice. Is he going to be able to put himself on the podium? Or do you see anyone else be putting a surprising result? What's your thoughts?
I think the race winner is going to be Kev the Slice. I think Kev's going to he can control the race. You know, he knows what it takes to lead from the front. He knows what it takes to come through the field. So I think Kev the Slice for the win. Ramon, should we call him Ramon Tabasco? Spicy. Ramon Tabasco, spicy. We have to see what he can do in the race. You know, he might be good in qualifying, but makes errors in the race. We don't know him, so let's see what he does. Bobo has a great chance of another podium. So I think Kev the Slice, Ramon, we'll see what happens. Bobo has a great chance of the podium, and then I think for the final podium position, I would not count out Jesper, if I'm honest. I don't think Jesper's put in a perfectly good qualifying as he wanted to. So from my guess, I'm gonna say Kev, Bobo, and Jesper for the podium.
Fair enough. I think I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna go Ramon in P1. I'm gonna go Bobo in P2, and I'm going the Bartofo in P3. I think El Shakel, you know, yeah. That is a really bold statement.
What's Kev gonna have done?
No. I think Kev has been so consistent that he kind of feels too much pressure on his shoulders. He's P1 in the Drivers' Championship. He is P1 on the grid today, or P2, I can't remember. P1, I think. He feels too much pressure on the shoulders, and I think at some point during the season he is gonna.
But does he though? But does he? Because he's P1 in the championship, he's P1 in quali. Has he really got the pressure? You know, he could just go out there and not worry too much, not get involved in silly incidents, drive his own race, and that's where I think personally it's going to come to himself.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have too many points in the Drivers' Championship of a lead. I mean, he doesn't have too much of a lead. He needs to perform here today because Tom Hinga is not there. He's got multiple drivers in the Drivers' Championship who are climbing up the ladder, getting closer to Kev the Slice, I would say, including Bobo. So I feel like if Bobo can put the pressure on Kev the Slice, he's going to make a mistake himself. And that is something that I'm hoping for. As I'm not going to say I hope he's going to crash, but for the sake of the Drivers' Championship and like the excitement of it, I really hope that something is going to happen to Kev the Slice, and that he gets challenged a little bit more than he's already been these last couple of weeks. And
I mean, a challenge would be good. Let's not hope for a crash. I mean, let's hope for some battles on field and really watching these guys go for it. Looking at the weather though, on another point, it's looking rather sunny, so possibly a dry race through and through.
You never know in Imola though. Sometimes it is sunny as
Take it away, Thomas. Here we go, formation lap.
Yep, I'm just checking out if my door is closed. Yeah, it is closed. Okay. Back, and let's have a quick look at the tires real quick. You're a tires guy, aren't you?
I'm a tires man. I'm a strategy man through and through.
Well, I'll give you the honor to discuss the strategy with us, mate.
I think there's only one. To be honest, there is only one strategy. It's a medium hard or a hard medium.
Those are two strategies.
Oh yeah, two. Medium hard or hard medium. It's one strategy because you're using the same types of tyres. The softs, unless there's a safety car, of course, I don't think the softs will be used. Bartofa in P5, very good call going on to the hards. There is a good chance of a early safety car. You know, it is a twisty track. Errors can be made, especially, I mean, you can beat your car around here as well, which can cause a safety car, so that can happen. Bartofa, yeah, could be a good call. And the only other person on the set of hards is Cable. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much was what I was expecting. I'd have done the same. I'd been on a set of probably mediums, if I'm honest, for the start round here. So, yeah, we'll see how the start pans out. Given the start, I'll take the back of the grid if you want me to, and you concentrate on the front, and we can see how it goes.
Totally fine, totally fine. I do have to mention one thing though. I've once seen someone win a race on soft mediums.
Okay. I mean, if that could be pure pace, to be honest.
That could be.
If
he's
you're
just
that
very
fast,
well with tire management.
you can do that. But I think we will be seeing, if there's no safety car, I think we'll be seeing just the mediums and the hards on track tonight.
Okay. It's a lot of laps too. So, I mean, usually that does play a part. Like Belgium, you've got soft mediums, which works, but that doesn't matter right now. We're racing in Imola. We are currently in Season 2, Round 6 of the Imola Grand Prix here in Divine Eye Racing. It's 5 red lights, and away we go. Kev the Slice leading the pack, having a very good start. Bobo already making the overtake on Ramon in P3. Ramon currently getting overtaken by Al Shakel down the inside. Al Shakel down the inside. Is he going to make up a position? Yes, indeed he does. Ramon has a very bad start, and he crashes out the Williams driver. The Bartofor drops back to the back of the grid, and Ramon drops back to P6 at the moment. There's chaos. A lot of drivers dropping back. Ange, Hamid, and Jesper, one of them. Well, two of them, actually. El Shakel currently on the tail of Bobo, as El Shakel, of course, with a very good start already. He did, well, benefit a little bit from Ramon crashing out his own teammate. And then we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. What has happened in the back?
Yeah, I mean, I think, who was it who come from the front? Was it Bartofa that come from the front?
Yeah, it was.
With an incident, yeah, I think that's caught the guys out from behind, especially Angie Hamid. Yeah, I think Bartofa's incident from in front has just caused a little bit of carnage behind, and guys trying to get out the way, etc. And it's just not, you know, it's just the way it goes. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that is always something you have. It's either a good... Oh, look at that. Bobo trying to make a move down the inside, and he makes the overtake already side by side through Sector 1. As it seems like Kevin Slice was looking to make a move up the inside, but he decides to back out now on the tail of the Ferrari driver. Is he going to be making up that position? 1/10 on the Ferrari driver. Doesn't look like it. He's trying to go down the inside, but it's not really suggested. Bobo with a really awkward line coming through that chicane. Here comes Kev the Slice around the outside. Yellow flag in Sector 1, and he's making a beautiful switchback. Look at that switchback from Kev the Slice, making up a position, and now there's a virtual safety car, so Bobo and Boat, Kev the Slice will have to slow down now, but Kev the Slice back in the lead of the race.
I'm trying to see why there's a VSE. I can't quite work out what. I mean, issues in the pits, that's not going to cause a VSC. There wasn't anything else much going on. The trouble is the Delta times are a bit messed up at the moment as well, which doesn't help. I don't know if you're seeing that, but I've got messed up Deltas at the moment. Yeah, I don't quite know why the VSC is out, if I'm honest. But we're green again, we're off again.
Bobo once again on the tail of Kev the Slice, and I think we will be seeing an back and forward battle between these two. It's a survival of the fittest, almost the fittest, crashing out. Kev the Slice almost lost his car, going onto the curb a little bit too much. Bobo benefiting from that mistake from the McLaren driver. Here comes Bobo back in the lead of the race. Al Shakel is trying to catch up to the two of them. Kev the Slice around the outside. Bobo with an inside line move. He defends beautifully. Kev the Slice had nowhere to go. So he has to be behind Bobo at the moment. El Shakel on the tail of Kev the Slice right now, heading into Sector 2. As they're currently trying to nail the corners as well as possible. Is Kev the Slice going to make a switchback again? Doesn't look like it. El Shakel possibly with an overtake. No, he's not. And we've got a 4-way lead for the lead of the race.
Yeah, and while that was going on, Thomas Ramler's got past Aluwa, Richie. I see what you're saying about these names now on the stream. I would have called him Richie. So Ramon's got past Richie, so that's a move done, and he's obviously going to be looking to make positions up because I'm sure he's lost a few since the start, so he's going to be looking on making a move. And interestingly, the two hard runners, it's not paying off for them. They've dropped down, and Rangi Boom Brown, or Rangi Boom Brown, should I say, is in P17 on a set of softs.
Yeah, he's just come into the pist. Oranje Boom Brown is really well known for his weird strategies. I do have to say that. Usually doesn't tend to put a qualifying. Yeah, it usually doesn't tend to put a qualifying lap on the board and then just goes for different strategies, trying to find his way around the track. And I mean, he's 20 seconds behind Ishi, who is 20 seconds behind Ange Hamid, so I see his chances very slim of winning the race or at least getting into the top 10. But as we're looking at El Shakel now making the overtake on Kev the Slice.
Yeah.
Zayed is trying to make his way past Kev the Slice too. We've got a 3-way battle for P2, and as we speak, Bobo is trying to run away, already outside that 1 second, so the guys will not have the DRS from Bobo, and that means that El Shakel will be in troubles at the moment because Kev the Slice and Ziad will both have that DRS down the straight. Maybe El Shakel needs to improve a little bit here more through Sector 3, and he will be catching up to Bobo. It does seem like he had a good exit coming off that chicane, and it seems like he did catch up. Kev the Slice now on the tail of El Shakel, and I mean, El Shakel has done a great job fighting his way into the top 3, currently in P2, on the tail of Bobo. He's got Kev the Slice right on his tail, and we kind of left him out of our top 3. I'm not sure why we did that, but he's really proving us wrong at the moment. He's doing a great job keeping it consistent, and Kev the Slice is getting attacked from behind. Doesn't look like he's got too much straight line speed at the moment. But Ramon has caught up to the top 4, so he's going to be really battling with the top guys.
That's what I was saying. He cleared Richie pretty fast, and now all of a sudden he's dropped Richie by just within DRS. So I mean, realistically at the moment we've got 6 drivers, possibly 7 drivers with Nico John there, who's gained positions. I'm sure he started P10. So Nico John's up 3 possessions and only he's just trying to keep in that DRS of Richie. If he can try and keep in that.
Sorry, my apologies. There goes Ramon again. He drops back to P10. Yep. Sorry.
This is what I was saying. We don't know him. We don't know what racecraft is like. We don't know if there's going to be errors, and there's been 2 errors in 5 laps, so maybe calling him on the podium was a bit of a Expediato, a five. What was that? Was that 5 second for ignoring yellow flags? Where was there a yellow flag?
I don't think there was one, if I'm being honest. But there was indeed a 5 second.
I'm sure he's just picked up a 5 second for ignoring yellow flags. I'm sure it said that. But at the front, this is at the moment, Richie's now dropped off of the top 4. So at the moment, it's a top 4 battle. Kev the Slice is still in there. I think Kev the Slice is playing the long game. I honestly think Kev the Slice is very clever on the RS. So I should imagine some of the other cars in front of him are ditching a bit of VRS, because I have noticed that as a racer, to be honest. Some of these guys, and Kev the Slice has a big wiggle, and he's down to P4.
You know what the problem is with Kev the Slice being so close to drivers? His tires are overheating a little bit too much, and they're deck raining a little bit too much, and that's, you've got a lot of dirty air, especially on a track like Imola. You've got a lot of dirty air, and that might have caused that wiggle. He's been behind El Shakel coming around Sector 1 and Sector 2, and those 2 sectors are very well known for tire overheating probability. And, that's probably why we saw that wiggle. He just needs to keep a little bit of distance to the guys in front of him, which he does have right now. He just needs to catch up a little bit more, but he needs to be around that 5 to 6 tenth gap instead of being right on the tail of that driver ahead.
Yeah, totally agree. And actually looking at, I don't like doing this, but I'm doing it because I want to know what the guys are doing with the RS and actually looking at the details of the car and what the guys are actually doing. The person that's actually in the strongest position is our race leader.
That is very surprising. I mean, Bobo, you know what the problem is? He doesn't really get attacked that often, so he can save that ERS for such a long time. You know, the guys behind him, they were battling as much as possible. They didn't have the DRS for Bobo for a long time already.
We got a McLaren off in that chicane. Sorry to interrupt there, Thomas. We've got a McLaren off in that chicane that could cause some issues with cars coming through, and I think it actually is. Who is that McLaren off? It must be a Rangaboom.
Oh, Kev the Slice having another snap. What is happening with Kev the Slice? He definitely doesn't have his tires temperature optimal, because this is the second time in one lap that it happened, that he had a little wiggle, as you said before, and now he lost another position to Richie. Kev the Slice needs to do something about his setups, because this isn't going to be a race win for him if he keeps on driving like this.
I think Kev the Slice is running pretty much a similar setup to what I would do. So, and he's off again. He is struggling, but I think he's running a similar setup to what I would do. So he's running very high front wing and very low on the rear wing. Because when the tyres drop off down here, and because there are twisty corner turns and you need the front downfalls, he's going to be running so much on his front wing that in these early stages it's going to be catching him out. But when the tyres do degrade, I think we could see possibly Kev the Slice coming back through when the tyres get worn.
Yeah, the problem is he finds himself right behind Nico John. He does get the overtake right now, but Nico John is that kind of client you don't want to battle with. He's one of the most consistent guys on the grid. He usually doesn't qualify very well. He gets up to P4, P5, P6, which he is in currently, and I do see him get another couple of positions on the board. He's just that consistent. He just has a lot of tire wear. Not a lot of tire wear. He just has a lot of tire life. He is good with the tires. He's good with the strategy, and he's done a great job. Here comes Kev the Slice down the inside of Richie, and he makes the overtake. I think Richie is trying to make that move back again up into P4. It goes Kev the Slice as we're heading into lap 9 out of the 32. Oh!
Yeah,
El Shakel is off track.
El Shakel.
Oh man, what has happened there with El Shakel? That's what we're saying. he was doing a great job. Kind of messed up there coming through turn 6. And he's down to P6 again.
Yeah, and I'm watching Ramon trying to come back through the field again as well after his couple of errors. The trouble is now, with his couple of errors, yes, he's only a tenth behind readouts, and trying to make the move on readouts is not going to work there. He can't make movement there, trust me. He cannot do that. If he passes readouts, then there's an 8-second gap to Al Shakel. So Ramon has really lost some. Oh, and he's trying to stick it down the inside of the chicane as well. That is not going to move, and he's got Expedioto behind him as well, and he could be under pressure from him. But Ramon's trying it now round the outside in sector 3. That's not going to work. The 2 final bends, that's not going to work. Bide your time and use your DRS straight. You're not going to make a move there. And if you do, you're going to be under DRS threat. So, I think there's a bit of racecraft missing there, if I'm honest, from Ramon.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. He should have definitely waited for that long DRS straight, because the guy in front of you doesn't have the DRS. There's no point of making that risk. I mean, even if it works or if it doesn't work, you're putting yourself and the other driver you're making the overtake on in a lot of risk, and that is definitely something you don't want to do as a racing driver only in lap 10 out of the 32, because you're going to drop back that many positions again. They're not that far away from Yester, the Bartow 4, and Brass Monk. I mean, Brass Monk is 9 seconds behind, but you see where I'm coming from, right? Like Cable Monkeys, Jesper in the bar top
Oh, yeah,
four,
totally.
they're only 7 seconds behind. So if Ramon, for example, crashed out together with Redoubts, it wasn't going to be easy to get back on track because those guys were coming, and it was going to create a very difficult and dangerous situation. As I'm just having a quick look with the top 3 here, Olawa Richie, 3 seconds
exactly
behind
the same.
Zayed.
Exactly the same. And Kev the Slice is stuck behind Richie, and the top 2 have pulled out a 3-second gap.
And as we're looking at Kev the Slice now making the overtake with the use of DRS, down the inside he goes. Beautiful overtake from Kev the Slice, and now he has to make a comeback race work. That's all he can do at the moment. Oh, look at that. Oh, Richie with a good exit. No, it's not going to be a move, unfortunately. But
this is what I was saying. I think this is now where Kev the Slice's tyres will come into play. And I expect to see the gap between P3 and P2 come down, because I think he's running a much higher downforce, and I think he's running much more front wing angle than what other people are. And I'm going to expect to see that gap between P3 and P2 close down.
Yes, I'm just taking a look through Sector 2. It looks like he lost actually 2 tenths coming through that. Now 3 tenths coming through Sector 2. As we're heading into Sector 3, so we might be seeing that time drop again, as you know.
This is where it should drop. This
Yeah.
should be Sector 2 and 3. It should drop.
Correct.
And it has. It's dropped 4 tenths, 5 tenths. So in 2 sectors, 5.5 to 5 tenths in 2 sectors. Kev the Slice is just caught. So I know Kev the Slice. I know he runs. I can just tell by the way I went racing against him that he runs higher downforce and much more front wing. And you notice down the straight there he lost time, and in the bends he absolutely pulls time back like crazy. So I can see what he's doing, and I think, if I'm honest, Kev the Slice is going to come into play in this race.
That is a bold statement. I do think he's going to be on top 3, but that race win, I think it might be going for Bobo. Kev the Slice is I feel like he's putting too much pressure on the tires at the moment, trying to catch up again. And Bobo's tires, I mean, he's not doing too much pressure keeping Zayed behind him, because I feel like Zayed is not really making the overtake or trying to make the overtake. Down the straight, he's not making the overtake. Bobo is just cruising around at the moment with a little B on the back of his car. I mean, he's no real threat at the moment during this race. You can see Ziad having another little bit of an awkward line coming through the chicane in Sector 3. So he isn't really of a threat at the moment for Bobo, and Bobo is just cruising, as I said before.
Totally not. I totally agree. And like I said before, I don't like looking at it, but first time it comes, I want to look at it because I want to look at detail. But the ERS, Bobo has double what Ziad has. So Bobo is comfortable. Bobo is comfortable in P1.
Yeah, and you know who isn't comfortable at all? Kev the Slice, because he's just been overtaken by Olawa Richie. And Olawa Richie, being the slower driver out of the two, he's gonna have or make Kev the Slice lose another bit of time. As you can see, before we saw a time from about 3 seconds. Now we're looking at a 3.3 second gap between Olawa Richie and Zayed, and a 3.6 second gap from Kev the Slice to Zayed. So this is that, you know, we're not talking about an annoying bee at the back of your car anymore, which Zayed is to Bobo. We're really talking about an obstacle, which Richie is in the racecraft and the race in general, and the strategy decisions and all that kind of stuff for Kev the Slice at the moment. And he's got Nico John right on his tail too. So it's a three-way battle right now for the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, Kev the Slice is in a battle he doesn't want to be in. He doesn't want to be around Richie and Nico John at the moment. That's not where he wants to be. He wants to be out of DRS and concentrating on lap times and hunting down the hunting down the top 2. And he can't do that. He's caught up in a battle with Richie and Nico John, and it's costing him. That's the problem. And because I can see he's running higher downforce, and because he's running higher downforce, he's getting killed in the straights. He needs to somehow break out of that cycle of these two to be able to bring his race back to him. If I'm honest, if I was Kev the Slice now, I'd be looking at boxing very, very soon, to get out of that cycle and getting some clean air to attack the guys ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick look with the leader, like the timetable, and see. I'm not sure if you know how many seconds there is here in a pit stop in Imola. Is it like 22, 23?
It's quite a long pit stop. I'm sure it's about 21 and a half, 22 seconds.
Okay, so let's do the calculation real quick. If you would come into the pits right now, let's put it on 22 seconds. That would be 27. That would be right behind Cable Monkey. So the problem with that is he's going to be right behind two drivers who are not at the same level as him. And he's going to have that struggle then. So he'll have to hope that those guys are... he's coming.
I told you it's the time to do it. It's the time to do it. He's got to, but at the same time, the other two are in. Nico John and Al Shakal are in. So Kev is going to jump Richie without a shadow of a doubt. So Kev has got to manage Nico John, and he's ahead of him. So if Kev can keep ahead of Nico John, he's going to jump Richie, and I think this is Kev's chance to put some ground down on the track, shall we say, and actually get some lap time in. Although saying that, he has come out behind Cable Monkey, like you're saying, Thomas, on a set of hards, 14 lap old hards. So he's got to clear Cable Monkey quick.
Yeah, and also the problem is also Dito is there. So you've got Cable Monkey, which you have to overtake, and then while you're battling with Dito, or while you're battling with Cable Monkey, well, let's say you're going to be battling with Cable Monkey, right? Dito is going to run away a little bit, and then he's going to be another obstacle. While if you just wait down the straight, you're going to make a two-way overtake down the inside, which... Oh, look at that, Bobo! 5-second time penalty.
Oh, no! That's an error you didn't... That could potentially have cost him a race win. But Kev just needs to... He needs to, and he will, dispatch his cars ahead quick. Because he's running such high downfalls. I mean, look how much he's dropped Nico John by how much? Over 3 seconds already.
Oh, and he's caught up to Bobo and Ziad. Look at that. He's on the tail.
That's what I mean. This is what I said. He needed to come in and do that switch straight away. And he's there. He's now put himself right in the fight for this race. And with the wings he's running, I can see it. I can watch it. I can see the lines he's taking. He's running such more downforce that if he uses these hard tyres to maximum, Kev the Slice could be right back in a shout for a win of this race.
100%. I'm just going to have a quick look with Nico John here on the tail of Barto for Nico John. I mean, he's lost a bit of time to give the slides, if I'm being honest. He got caught up in this little battle with the Bartofor and Olowo Richie. Olowo Richie now on the tail of Nico John. As I'm just going to have a quick look whether Nico John is going to pass the Williams driver or if the Bartofor is going to come into the pits. Bobo has just made the overtake on Reedhouse. I think Reedhouse is coming into the pits pretty soon. He wasn't the lead of the race, hasn't come into the pits yet. I think he's one of the only guys who hasn't come into the pits yet. Let's have a quick look with Nico John. Down the straight he goes, and the Bartofor is not coming into the pits. Nico John down the inside, DRS wide open, and that will be a battle for a P6, of course. And there he goes, Olowo Richie.
I think Redoubts is going to go for a medium soft strategy. If Redoubts is on 16 lap old hards, medium, sorry, he'd be in for hards already by now. So Redoubts is definitely going for softs for the end of the race.
That's what I was saying. Sometimes you have to make guesses that, you know, if you're in the middle of the pack or somewhere at the back of the pack, you have to do something that none of the others are doing to get that race win.
Exactly. It's an idea to throw something into the party, and you can reap the rewards by a bold strategy. But I think for the main runners, there's only one strategy, and that's obviously what they played. But for Redoubts, this could play quite well. I'm just looking at the deltas. He's going to lose a lot of time. I mean, yeah, it could it could help. I mean, it's not going to get him a strong position, but it's going to have helped for sure.
Yeah, he's going to be dropping back behind Ramon, I think. Bobo now losing a position.
Just taking the lead. Zaya's just taking the lead off of Bobo. Zaya's taking the lead off of Bobo, and that puts more damage to Bobo's woes with his 5-second penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. Bobo can only hope for a late safety car and to pit to get rid of that and hope that any late softs might actually help. But Bobo's comfortable lead is now not so comfortable.
Yeah, just taking a quick look with
Kev the Slice right behind him, Thomas. Kev the Slice is there.
Yeah, Kev the Slice definitely not giving up. He wants to get that race win. He's secured a P2, a provisional P2 already because of that 5-second time penalty from Bobo. But is Zayed going to give that position for free? We haven't seen him yet. Zayed, a new driver here in Divine Eye Racing. We don't know how his pressure will be at the end of the race. If he, it could be a relief already being in P1 in your first league race in this league. But it could also put a lot of pressure. You don't know how the drivers are handling with that kind of pressure. It could give them a little bit of a boost. It could make them slower. You never know. And with the championship leader right behind you, you never know.
And Zaya puts in a 17.1. That's kind of a statement to say, yes, I may be new here, but I want to race and my name is going to be here. So, yeah. Fair play to him. He's driven a great race so far.
And as we're looking at the top 5 at the moment, El Shakel just took that position from Nico John. Nico John, once again, he's coming to the pits. He will be a little bit slower, but at the end of the race, his tires will just be better and he'll be faster at the end of the race. So we do possibly see Nico John move back up to the top 5. Possibly top 4, depends on whether Olawa Richie is going to slow down a little bit. But of course, that top 3 has run away already. 7 seconds to the rest of the pack. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I think we've got someone new that is willing to battle with the top 3. Well, with the top 2 at the moment, Bobo and Kev the Slice. Zayed has joined the show, and he's definitely making a name for himself already during the first race he has joined here in the Divine Eye Racing.
Just quickly, Thomas, who was it who ran really long on a set of mediums and I said they were going to go on to softs? It was Readouts, wasn't it?
It was Readouts, yep.
He's gone on to hards. So he's driven over half the race on a set of mediums and gone into hards for the end. I don't quite get that.
Maybe he just wasn't feeling very comfortable on the mediums. Thought to himself, if I go onto the softs right now, I will. Long. Yeah.
If he's not feeling comfortable on the mediums, then get rid of them and go on to the hards earlier.
I'm not sure. We cannot see in the driver's mind, right? So.
No, well, I kind of can. But I'm only thinking that he's thinking his hards are going to come back to him, but with a nigh on 14-second gap and a penalty, I can't see that working. So I think Readouts has possibly called a strategy wrong there, but yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
As we're looking at Readouts, though, the top 3 has spread out a little bit. It seems like Bobo doesn't have the DRS anymore. And we've got a Haas driver, which is possibly a Brass Monkeys.
Yeah,
who's going to get the DRS to Bobo, if I'm not mistaken. Bobo doesn't have the DRS. How does he not have the DRS?
He should do.
He should do, because of that Haas driver right in front of him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he should.
Maybe he decides to... Maybe he didn't know? That could be... I don't know. Usually as a racing driver, you do know. No?
Yeah. Well, for me, yes. If you're overtaking the car and you're within a second of it and you get the bleep, you open it. Simple as that. Maybe he's just missed it. It might just been a driver error.
Look at
but
that.
as we say that now, Bobo and Kev are battling like crazy. Oh, and Kev's gone off. There's a bit of contact. Kev was trying to pull the outside line. It didn't work, and there was a bit of contact between Bobo and Kev. And Kev actually went off track because of that contact. So we need to keep an eye on these two, because this is for a bit of pride, a bit of precision. Bobo is carrying that penalty and he knows it, so he's not going to want to give up that place as like anything. He will not want to give up that place, but at the same time, it's kind of a dead cause. You've got a penalty, you've got a driver behind you that's going to attack you, and here comes the attack, and we're going to see if Kev the Slice just try and do it around the outside. Bobo defends as well. Kev the Slice cuts the bend as well. It's fair. It's fair through there. Bobo doing a great job in defending, to be honest.
Yeah, and as these guys were battling that heavily, look at the gap to Zayed at the moment. 4 seconds between Zayed and Bobo, and then of course, because of that battling between these two, Bobo's 5-second time penalty might be punishing himself harder than he think it is going to be, because El Shakel is catching up. It was 7.2 seconds earlier at the beginning of this lap. Now it's already shrank down to 6.6 seconds. So even if these guys are going to be battling a little bit heavier, El Shakel is just going to catch up and punish Bobo quite heavily and catch that P3 position from the steal it from the Ferrari driver.
That's exactly it, and the person it's going to actually punish, as you say, is Bobo. It's going to be Bobo that gets punished. If Al Shakel gets within that 3 seconds, then Bobo's lost the podium from a potential race win. So he will be kicking himself, because let's face it, I mean, Bobo for the last 2 races, he's had cracking races. He's been absolutely on it, and fair play to him. He's ditched the DRS. I've just noticed Bobo blinking, which you don't want to be doing. He's blinking this early around Imola, because he will be in trouble. Let me check, is he blinking? I'm sure he was blinking. I want to see his car, is he blinking? I'm sure he is. Bobo's ditched ERS, so... Oh, Bobo, you could have...
You know what I'm thinking? I think I know what Bobo is trying to do. So he knows that Kev the Slice is going to get that position anyway. But I think he's trying to prevent Kev the Slice from winning this Grand Prix, because that means he would only gain more points of a difference towards Bobo, right? P1 gets 30 points, if I'm not mistaken. If Kev the there's now a 5-second gap to Zayed, so it's possibly unlikely that he's going to gain 5 seconds in 9 laps, especially with Bobo in front of him. So I think he's just trying to prevent him getting that race win, because that means it would be a P1 and a P3 point difference, and now it's only a P2 and a P3 point difference.
Yeah, totally. And I think also what Bobo is trying to do is just get Kev the Slice out of his DRS and try and prevent Al Shakel actually coming into that DRS as well and making an attack. So he's trying to get out of the DRS of... I can see exactly what he's trying to do, but it's not going to work. I can see exactly what he's trying to do, but unfortunately, I think we're going to see Bobo drop down a position, probably or 2, although Richie's got past Al Shakel, but he's carrying a time penalty. So those 2 penalties in the top 6 are going to play a massive effect to the end of this race. Massive.
Yeah, and Roman also has the pace, so he can maybe catch up to that penalty from Richie again and get a P6 anyway. And although Richie is going to lose 3 positions, I'm just going to have a quick look here with Nico John, El Shakel, and Ramon. Nico John gets 3-second time penalty that will lose him 1 position. He's got the DRS down the straight. El Shakel does too, as they have caught up to Olawa Richie. Ramon 1.6 seconds behind, as El Shakel is possibly going to make that move on the Mercedes driver pretty soon. I'm just going to focus on these guys real quick, because they've been battling these last couple of laps already quite some time. Nico John now 2/10s behind the Williams driver, coming through turn 4 and 5. He wants to nail that curb as much as possible on the entry and the exit into turn 6. And he wants to take a tight line, and he does indeed. The Mercedes driver going a little bit too deep there. That might be an opportunity for Al Shakel, as he's already caught up coming through that part of the track. Heading into Sector 2 at the moment. Fast left-hander for both of these drivers. As Al Shakel having a little bit of a snap. Is Nico John going to go for it? Doesn't look like it. Al Shakel defending from the inside line. As he goes a little bit too much on the curve, goes off track. Nico John might be able to benefit from this. Down the inside he goes. Nico John moves up to P5. And Al Shakel, I think he also got a penalty.
And what is happening to Richie? He's now needed over 7 seconds off of Kev the Slice.
No idea,
so
no
now,
idea.
all of a sudden, this is a top 3 race. And that is it. It's a top 3 race.
Yep.
Who did you call for the top 3, Thomas? I can't remember.
Ramon, I think I put Bobo, and I think I put Al Shakel. No, I didn't put Al Shakel. Who did I put? Oh, the Bartol for.
I put Bobo and Kev were in my top 3.
You got 1 extra point on me, mate.
So I'm winning, man.
Yeah, I don't think the Bartol will catch up anymore.
Well, like honestly, like this is a debut race, yeah, and that's a solid race.
He had some help. He had some help from Bobo.
It's not like the guy from last week, whatever his name was, who totally ran away with it and stressed me out like crazy. You know, he's only 5 seconds up the road, so these guys can take the race to him. So yeah, he's fast, but I think people like Kev the Slice on their day, Nico John, you know, they could bring the race to him. So I think he should be in D2.
Yeah, he should be there totally battling with the top 2 drivers. The top 3, because we've got Tonhinga also not in the session, right? Tonhinga, one of the faster guys.
There you go. Tonhinga's not here. I'm not here.
Oh, Nico John making the overtake on Olowo Richie around the outside with a DRS, but he's blinking. So Nico John not having too much ERS left. 5 more laps to go here in the Imola Grand Prix. And it's going to definitely be an exciting end of this race.
I tell you who will be the happiest person on this grid, and we've mentioned him a lot tonight, will be Kev the Slice. Because to be honest, he started off well, and then all of a sudden drops to nowhere, and now he's right back in the hunt again, and at the moment he's currently going to take P2. And I think he would take that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it does look like that. I mean, he's just going to keep it behind Bobo. No risk to be taken. Maybe make the overtake down the DRS straight, but apart from that, I don't think he should make any efforts into making the overtake. On the other hand, we've got a very heavy battle for P3. Al Shakel crashed. Al Shakel crashed in the wall.
We're going to have a safety car.
Don't think so. Don't think so. He's got no real damage, I think. He was just in the wall. No real damage. He's still on track.
Oh, he's just tapped the wall. He's kissed it. He's just said hello to the wall. That's nothing.
He just said, "Hey, I haven't seen you today. Let's put it in the wall." Lower Richie around the outside of Nico John. Ooh, he's passed. He's passed.
Al Shakel just faked to come into the pits for some reason. I don't know who he's trying to fool, but there's nobody around him. Okay, that's different.
Heading into lap 28 out of the 32, we've got once again a very heavy battle between Nico John and Olowo Richie. Both drivers are having 3 seconds of time penalties. And as things are looking like right now, Ramon Tabasco is going to get a surprising P4. We didn't expect that. He was all the way at the back of the grid. Crashed out 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, and he just has the pace.
The podium guy.
he just had.
He's close.
He just had the pace, you know. He was there in qualifying, up A10s in Sector 1. Unfortunately, invalidated, but he's shown that he has a lot of pace, just doesn't have the consistency. And in your opinion, does he deserve to be in Div 2? Do you think he deserves to be in Div 2? Because, I mean, he's got the pace, he's just not consistent.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to end up finishing the race P4. So
I mean, instead of P1 though, Div 1. do you think it should be in Div 1, Div 2?
No, two.
2?
Yeah, two. He should be here.
He has
He
too
should
much
be here.
space, mate.
You know,
Yes.
if it, well, no, but he's making race errors. So you're making race errors, then put him in Division 2. You know, he's going to be finishing. There's obviously some racecraft issues. Whether it's nerves because it's his first race, who knows? But I'm sure down the line, if in 3 races time, for example, and he's learnt his feet and he knows everybody here, and he's with races by 20 seconds, then yeah, he won't be in Div 2, he'll be in Div 1. But I think as it stands, yeah, he's a midfield Div 2 racer, if I'm honest.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I haven't seen anything special. You know, I haven't seen a massive qualifying lap that absolutely destroys everybody. I haven't seen anything massively pace-wise within a race, or you know, outstanding racecraft. You know, I think it's where things are how they should be, from my point of view.
No, agree to disagree. I think he just, you know, qualifying-wise, he was up there with the top guys. It was up 8/10 in Sector 1, which was going to blow everyone out of their socks. He's caught up multiple times already. He did crash out, though, which I mean, I can't... all right, he's going to finish before, but he's caught up so many times already.
Three spins in a race.
But that doesn't say anything about his pace, right?
No, but it's racecraft, which is more important than pace. If you've got racecraft and you can run around a track all day long and not have any incidents, no penalties, all right, he hasn't got penalties, but run around a track, no issues, that's better than race pace, without a shadow of a doubt. And the qualifying, yes, he was up that time, and if he knew he had that pace, then, and you could see he had that pace, why not back off of it a tiny bit, and instead of trying to get 8 tenths out of a lap, just take 5 tenths out of a lap, and you still be pole. It's just the little details I just think aren't quite there, but they may come.
Maybe a next race. Here comes Nico John around the outside of Imola with Richie as we're heading into the penultimate lap of this Imola Grand Prix. We've seen many overtakes already from these guys, but who will run away with P5? Will it be Nico John? Will it be Olowo Richie? Or will it be Ramon? Because he could still get a 3-second time penalty. You never know how many warnings he has already. But Nico John and Olowo Richie seem to be battling right now for that top 5 position. And top 5, I think, runs away with about 15 points, if I'm not mistaken. The race winner gets 30, so that will be for Ziad, already making an appearance here in Divine Eye Racing. I don't think Kev the Slice will make that overtake on Bobo, if I'm being honest. He will not make that overtake.
But he's got the penalty, so he doesn't need to. Just
No.
sit there.
Yeah,
And
but
you're
also
going
have
to
to...
get to P2, man. So just sit there.
You also have... Oh, no way! Olowo Richie! No, it's Nico John! Oh, man, as I was saying, at the middle of this live stream, the consistency himself messes it up, and he's going to drop back. I mean, not too many positions. He didn't really lose too many positions. He lost possibly 1, because Ramon had no penalties anyway. Oh, Kev the Slice does make the overtake on Bobo. He's going for it.
Yeah, I thought he would. I knew he... Kev loves a battle.
Oh, Bobo not giving up though, down the inside.
No, this could turn. Kev, just be sensible, man. If you back, oh God, no. Just, oh jeez, I know.
You know what the thing is? Maybe
it's a fight on track, but don't fight it on the last bend.
Oh my days, what is happening?
Told you. It's just silly. Why are they even doing that? It's ludicrous. Bobo's not going to gain 5 seconds on Kev, and Kev's got that position. So just hold position, lads. You're being stupid. Honestly, but I'm right. Just hold that position. You go and put yourself in the wall. You've just raced 32 laps for sod all. Like, wake up, lads. hold position, cross the line. The time penalties are going to give you your positions, and that's what we have. And there we go. Take it away, Thomas.
Yeah, Zaid coming across the line to catch his first race win here in Divine Eye Racing. Kev the Slice coming across the line to put himself in P2, and then Bobo with a P3. And very unfortunate 5-second time penalty, but maybe we didn't know something he knew. And maybe he could get that 5-second time penalty removed. You never know if something happened in the pit lane. Ramon with a surprising P4. He came from P2 or P3 on the starting grid, dropped back because he crashed out. Caught back up, crashed again, caught back up, and without any penalties, he caught a P4 from Olawa Richie, who catches a P5. Nico John messes up in the last lap of the race. He drops back to P6, could have possibly get a P5, but it can be for him this time during the race. El Shakel with a P7, he crashed out quite early, and he crashed out quite late during this race already. So the Bartofor, who crashed out very early during this race, caught back up to P8, so not a bad result from the Irishman. Then we've got Jesper, the Dutchman, in P9. I think it's one of the Haas's once again in the top 10, with a very good result, if I'm being honest. The Haas's have always been up there. Last week we had Redoubts being up there, then we have Brass Monkeys the week before, Redoubts up there, and they're kind of switching between P10 and P11, so it's a back and forward battle in between the Haas team. As I'm just going to have a quick look with the standings here. As I said before, Ziad running away with P1, and Kev the Slice with P2, and Bobo to finish off the podium. Further, we've got Ramon, Olawa Richie, Nico John, El Shakel, the Barto for Jesper, Cable Monkeys, Dito, Ange Hamid, Redoubts, Ishi, Brass Monkeys, Blue Dark, and Oranje Boom Brown. It was apparently not a Haas in the top 10, but it's Cable Monkey in the top 10. Any other intakes about this race, Ali?
Well, to be honest, I think you just summed it up. It's been a good race, and I just want to say thank you very much for having me in the comments box. I've really enjoyed it. It kind of takes the pressure off me as a driver to be able to relax, and comes on the race that I used to actually race with these guys in. So it's a nice perspective, and hopefully it's kind of brought a bit of driver perspective into the comms as well, considering obviously I used to race with them. So yeah, hopefully all in all it's been a good experience for all.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It was a pleasure having you here in the comms box with me today, and maybe for future partnerships, we don't know. We don't know whether the bosses liked it. You never know. But of course, thank you very much. It was very helpful having you in the comms box with me. Sometimes you don't know what to say, and it's easier to talk to someone rather than talk to a screen. Of course, I do have the watchers with me, but it's not the same. You're actually talking back. The guys in the chat are not always.
I enjoyed it as well, and we you were chatting about something, and I waited for you to finish, and then I chatting about something, and you waited for me to finish. It just seemed to work quite natural. So no, it was good. So who knows? Let's see what they think and see how things go forward. Shall we say?
Yeah. 100%. I would like to thank Ali for being comms with me. I would like to thank all the drivers who were on the grid today, making it a fantastic race that it was. Guys, I'm going to finish off the live stream here. Once again, a very big thank you to you watching the live stream right now. I hope you guys liked it as much as we did here in the comments box. Guys, I will catch you guys next week. Well, will I be there next week? Let me think. I will be there next week. And that will be a race around... I'll have to take a quick look, if I'm being honest. I have no idea what track it'll be. It'll be... Oh man, why is it always taking so long? It'll be Spa-Francorchamps, my home track, so I do have to be there. I know everything about this track.
Oh, one of my favorites.
We all know it's your favorite. It's everyone's favorites. It's everyone's favorite. It is.
One of mine, not the favorite one.
Ah, come on! Don't tell me. Don't tell.
Qatar.
Oh, Qatar! That is bold.
I love Qatar. Bold. I love it.
All right, guys. I'm gonna finish off the live stream here. Thank you very much for watching. And well, me and possibly Mr. Ali House in the comms box. We'll see you next week. And all I can say is, guys, thank you very much and peace out. Bye bye.
Bye bye.